10.0 Non-destructive examination acceptance standard scope of the paragraph is defined with except for the criteria personal qualification shall be used for the point of the non-destructive test of the requirement specification of the test specification acceptance criteria of the non-destructive testing describe the following. Radiograph, paragraph 10.2, liquid penetration 10.3, magnetic particle 10.4, ultra examination 10.5. Radiographic acceptance criteria general detail procedure of the radiographic examination while the joint should be established in accordance with Appendix T in each facility. Level 2 or Level 3 non-destructive test technician qualified in accordance with Appendix T for the radiographic test should be reviewed and approved with all required radiographic examination acceptance standards of the radiographic weld. Radiographic welds ASTM E390 reference radiograph steel fusion welds acceptable the guided type of the degrees of discontinuity detectable by radiographs of steel. Radiographs of weld radio types that crossed out thou show with any of the following type of discontinuities, imperfections, uncertainty, unacceptables. Elongated slag inclusion with a length greater than 1/4 inch for the T up to 3/4 inch, 1/3 T from T to 3/4 inch to 2 1/4 inch. A T is the thickness of the thinner of the plate of a joint. A group of slag inclusion, a line aggravated length drawn around the thickness of the thinner plate in the weld, the length in 12 T. Except the distance between the successive inclusions is 6L, where L is the length of the longest inclusion of the group. Any type of the cracker zone, incomplete fusion, incomplete penetration, round indication successful specified at corners acceptable paragraph 10.2.3 and 10.3.4 below. Round indications. Images, general circle, oval shape shall be interpreted to round indication for the purposes of standard for the radiograph. The image will appear in the dark. The fluoroscopy image will appear in light that was scored out. Where permissible round indications are those the length equal to or less than 3 times the width. Round indications may be circular, cone, elliptical, irregular in shape, and the many have the tails evaluating side of the indication of the tail shall be included. Round indications of the weld thickness intermediate the illustrated shall be evaluated comparison. Round indication of the next standard material by calculation shown in the table W3. Total area of the round indication determined the radiograph not exceeding 6 thousandths of an inch T, which is the thinnest the thinner plate of the joint. And any 6-inch length of weld, the thinner point of the joint thickness of the weld is less than 6 inches long, the total area round indication will be reduced to proportion. And any 1 inch length of which there or 2 thin inch with smaller round indication, thinner plate in whichever smaller round indication cluster concentration 4 times permitted with 60 thousandths of an inch. Such as clustered round indications should include round indications at any 6 inches of the length of the weld that includes clusters. A line round indication acceptable provided some dimension of the diameter to indicate with not less than the thinnest layer of the joint length of the 12 T or 6 inches, whichever the less provided with each direction, separated by the distance at least 6 inches times the diameter of the largest adjacent indication. A line rounded indication should be counted the total area permissible indications in any 6 inch length of weld. The maximum indication shall be 0.2 thinnest member or 1/8 of an inch, whichever is smaller, except the isolated indication separated by the adjacent indication by 1 inch or more than 0.3 thin indication, thin joint or 1/4 inch, whichever is less. So it's welding thickness 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, total area is permitted in square inch, a large indicating size, approximal decimal value, medium indication size, approximal decimal, and number. Then it goes into 3/4 inch, 1 and 1/4 inch, 1/2. 3/4, 1 inch, 1/2, and 2 inches. Maximum permissible round indications per 15.2 millimeter length of weld standard units. Alright, your round indication charts. Round indication charts figure W16 and through W19 illustrate various types of sword with uniform randomly dispersed round indication chart with a thickness representation. Maximum acceptable round indication chart represents full-scale 6-inch radiographs. Shall not be enlarged, reduced. Round indication distribution shall not be necessarily patterns. There may appear with a radiograph the typical number and size indications permitted with the round indication significantly through the charts and actually numbers in the round indications may be measured. Total area of the round indications calculated. Alright, liquid penetration examination acceptance criteria. Generally, this section describes the method should be applied with a liquid penetration examination specified with the specification that was scored out at level 2 or level 3 non-restrictive testing. A technician qualified in accordance with the Appendix T liquid penetration testing should approve Review and approve all the required liquid penetration examination. Liquid penetration examination performed in accordance with written procedure qualified with the facility in accordance with requirements Appendix T. Value indication evidence of mechanical imperfection. Only indication major dimensions greater than 1/16 of an inch shall be considered relevant. A linear indication having a length greater than 3 times the width. A round indication of one circular elliptical shape of the length equal or less than 3 times the width. Then questionable doubtable indications should be re-examined to determine whether they are not relevant. Acceptance criteria. The acceptance shall be applied with the under most restrictive standards or the specified with the specific standard application specification indication believed to be non-relevant to regard with it or as discontinued unless it is shown with a re-examination assessment method either the non-destructive examination or by a surface condition non-rejectable discontinuity is present. All surface examined shall be free of the relevant linear indication, relevant round indication greater than 3/16 inch, former relevant indications in the line separated 1/16 inch less edge to edge. Magnet particle acceptance criteria, level 2 and level 3 non-destructive testing technician qualified in accordance with Appendix G for the magnetic particle testing shall review and approve all the required magnetic particle exam. Magnetical particle exam should be performed as according to written procedure qualified with the facility in accordance with requirements Appendix T. Evaluation indication of review of the retention magnetic particles indication not necessarily imperfection rejectable discontinuities, however because of excessive surface roughness magnetic permeability variation such as edge and heated effect zones may produce a similar indication considered the non-relevant indications. Only indications that result in mechanical imperfections at any dimension greater than 1/16 is considered relevant. Indications having a length greater than 3 times the width. A round indication of one circular elliptical shape length of equal to or less than 3 times the width. The questionable doubtful indications should be re-examined to determine whether or not they are relevant. Acceptance standards shall be applied unless more restrictive standards for the specific material application specification indication that is believed with non-relevant to regard with the imperfection discontinuing unless it was shown with the re-examination same method even the non-destructive methods of the surface conditioning with an unacceptable imperfection rejectable discontinuity is present. All surface to be examined should be free of relevant linear indication, relevant round indication greater than 3/16 inch, 4 or more relevant round indication on a line separated by 1/16 less to edge ultrasonic examination. Ultrasonic examination may be employed in accordance with Appendix G to complete the penetration groove in the butt joint, tank, or car components. Detailed procedures shall be established in accordance with Appendix G for each facility. Level 2, Level 3 non-restrictive technician qualified in accordance with Appendix G for the ultrasonic test review and approve all the required ultrasonic examinations. Ultrasonic acceptance criteria discontinue with the producer greater than 20% of the reference level investigated extent of the operator determine the shape of the identity of the location of all of the discontinuities evaluate determine the acceptance standard of the given below indication characterized with cracks, lack of fusion, incomplete penetration of the unskippable regardless for the length unrelevant indication intersects the surface of the component of the well shall be rejectable unless the indication determined cause of the visual acceptance criteria and the discontinuity the unacceptable indication exceed with the reference level the half of the length exceed with the following 1/4 inch of the thickness of the thinner plate of the joint of 3/4 inch and 1/3 the thickness of the thinner plate from the thickness of the thinner plate from 3/4 inch to 2 1/4 inch. T is the thickness of the thinner plate of the joint. The group indication have the aggregated length greater than the thickness of the thinner plate of the joint and the weld length of 12 T or 6 inches, whichever less, except for the distance between the successive indication exceeding 6L, where the length of the longest indication in the group. Indication is believed that not relevant should be regarded as imperfection discontinuity unless it shall be re-examined unacceptable imperfection rejectable discontinuity are present. Re-examination will perform the same method by use of the other non-destructive examination methods or surface conditioning. Alright, T is the thickness welded excluded with the allowable reinforcement groove of the butt weld. The two members having different thickness of the weld, the thinner over these two thicknesses. The full penetration, which includes fillet weld thickness for the throat of the fillet, will be included in the T. 11. Performance qualification welding and welding operators.